Hello there, good people, and welcome to another episode of the Six Show rebooted, aka the Wild Boys in Africa.
The Wild Show.
The Wild Show. And I'm here with my main man B. How are you, my brother?
Yeah, good.
Brother?
I'm really good. And I think we're going to be talking about this boy tonight.
Oh yeah, look at that image. You know, it's the detail in that print, Brent. Every time I look at it, tears. Because it's just, you can see every little hair of the big fella. Oh, it's amazing, mate. Beautiful light, beautiful glow in its eyes. Look at those catch lights in its eyes. Just lovely.
And I think the reason there's so much detail here is I overcooked this image. The reason I was overcooking it on purpose to print it like this is so I could paint over it. Because I actually wanted to paint and then just leave the eyes and the nose and everything. As I'm learning to be an artist, as a painter. And so I overcooked it a little bit. But it actually printed out well.
Printed out great. Yeah. I love it. I love the detail in it. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, once you get your sharpening, it's one of those images that you don't mind sharpening because you want to see every little hair in the print. It's lovely too. Beautiful, mate. Yeah, awesome. Beautiful. So we're going to edit that one, aren't we? And you're going to tell me the story after we do this edit. So this was the original image, the wide shot of that image, isn't it? So you've obviously cropped him in quite tight there. But I mean, it's the beautiful thing about cameras these days. There's so much resolution. Do you know, I think my first digital camera, it was 2 megapixels.
Mine was 3.
3. Oh, okay. So
it was the 30D or the D30. It was the first Canon.
Yeah, right.
A 3 megapixel. And
you had to look at the back of the screen was a postage stamp.
Yeah. and the memory card was a little 1 megabyte IBM micro drive. It was a little hard drive.
Crazy, man.
And it was spin. A little hard drive.
Old school, mate.
Yeah, I think I've still got it.
A spinning hard drive. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, man. Yeah, no, I had a point and shoot Canon thing, and I remember I wouldn't want to take it out because it was quite expensive for me when I was to buy that thing back in the day, even though it was only a point and shoot. But it's I remember I wouldn't want to take it out. So you know what I used to rock around in my camera bag at work?
What?
I had a paper film camera. So like disposable paper, and you wind it on, and you look through this tiny line, click, and you take it in and get little 9x16 prints off the film.
Yeah.
So that's what I have in my camera bag, like not my camera bag, but the bag I took into the bush for national parks.
Yeah, for sure. And you're talking about how expensive digital cameras were in the day. This is 24 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I had to timeshare this camera. So my friend Johny, who worked with me, we both put in half the money. So, and we had one camera, one lens, one battery, one little IBM CF card.
Crazy, bro.
And he'd have it one weekend, I'd have it the next. He'd have it one weekend, I'd have it the next. And that's the only way I managed to get into digital photography. But I learned so much having that immediate feedback, instant feedback.
Yeah, I think
I'm like, aperture, did it change? Oh, that's what aperture does. Depth of field. Look at that.
Crazy.
Before I had to send stuff off. 2 weeks later, you get it back, the print, and you're like, I can't remember what I shot that up.
Yeah, that's right. The settings, you can't just press like on the screen Command I and go, oh yeah. This was shot at 1/1000th, 7.1 aperture and 320 ISO. So it's 600 mil. So yeah, beautiful, mate.
Yeah, and that's on a Sigma 150 to 600 lens, which no longer works. It died a few months ago. I've worked it a lot. Yeah, three trips to Africa. Like it's been all over the place.
Birds everywhere. Yeah.
Birds. Salts on the ocean. Yes. Yeah.
That's what your camera is for.
It's lasted. I think it's lasted me 8 years.
Yeah. Well, that's a good run.
Something like that. Yeah.
Amazing. Anyway, so there you go. So that's the settings there. 1/1000th. F 7.1, 32, 3, I can't even speak, mate. 320 ISO. Cool, beautiful.
And it's not bad. And the reason I chose this image to print is just because he's looking right at us.
Looking.
So imagine we're in a safari vehicle, open vehicle. There's quite a few vehicles where we are, and every now and again he looks right into your soul.
Yeah,
it feels like it. And when a predator like this actually looks you in the eyes, something happens in your heart.
Oh, for sure. It's like deep connection that you get, but that fear.
Well, the fear.
Well, that's building that connection. It's like, wow, look how powerful this big boy is.
There's nothing like it. Like it's not like you're in at a zoo where there's something on the other side of glass or whatever. There's not a lot separating you from the lion.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're in an open
vehicle.
And I'm actually going to go a bit of a different route, I think, with this image. I actually like the environment a lot more around him. I like the bush. I mean, I understand why you printed like that's amazing portrait, just like epic. But I think I'm going to just go a slightly different route with this guy. As always, in Lightroom, you can see it's got the auto button. Love that. Just going to hit that first, get myself going. Just watch. Sometimes it pushes the vibrance saturation like crazy. Here, I think it's not too bad. But if you're ever worried, you can just double click vibrance and reset it anyway. The thing about vibrance and saturation, bringing it in this early, I find sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Vibrance and saturation, use it sparingly. If you're going to use it, I like to use it more as localized adjustments after I've done my contrast adjustments. Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's go down here, color grading. I'm going to add that mid-tone contrast that we spoke about last time. So in the color grading down here in the mid-tone slider, there's no way to add mid-tone contrast easily. You can do it in a tone curve. I just like to go down to this slider and just add that mid-tone contrast.
That's something
I really like that mid-tone contrast.
I'm going to
really nice.
Add that to my workflow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So set the white and black point, but you can see sometimes the white and black points by holding down shift, clicking whites, clicking blacks.
Double-clicking.
Double-clicking whites, double-clicking blacks, the words as I hold down shift. It'll push it too far sometimes, and I think this is one of those ones where the whites are just a little bit too much for me. I don't want that background to be that bright. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. I think that's looking pretty good. White balance, that's as shot. Sometimes I'll just go in and I'll just check with auto. I don't like the coolness.
Too blue.
Too blue. Yeah. I actually like that warmth coming in on the big fella there. I think that's looking pretty good. Now, before we get too much further, I am going to play around with the crop just a little bit here. And I'm thinking, we'll keep it the original ratio, but I'm thinking I might push him in like dead center, and it's going to break those rules, Brent. Well, those rules, I'm breaking the third rules, mate. Yeah. But the eye line is going to be close to the top third. Okay, so I'm liking where that's at. I mean, there's other crop options. That's the thing with wildlife photography. There's heaps of options. We could go in here to a vertical crop, and I think that's
what I did.
That would be quite nice, but adding a bit more of the environment possibly to the left. Yeah, but anyway, so if you hit the X key, by the way, it'll turn it from landscape to portrait.
Okay.
X, yeah. It's a nice quick way of doing that. But I think I'm going to go with something, maybe I'll push him off to the right a little bit more and add a bit more of that tree, but bring the eye line down. Actually, I think that's slightly stronger because he's slightly off-center, slightly.
And it's interesting how he went to lie down in the shade of the only bush in the whole pan. It's like just flat and there's nothing.
Yeah.
But he goes and lays next to the only little bush.
Yeah.
And all I wanted was like him to be in the open.
Yeah.
Walking towards me or something so I can get a nice clean shot.
Yeah, it's amazing, mate. All right, so far, here's where we're at. So before, after, so that's after. I get it right. Before, after. So backslash key to double check that. Cool. So where we're at so far, I think that's pretty good. I'm liking everything there. I think we'll go in, we'll do our initial subject selection there. Let's have a look. See how we go. It's done a pretty good job. It has got a bit of this one over here, which is cool. So what we can do with that is we go up here to subtract, and I'm just going to hit the brush tool, and I'm just going to go up and paint that off there. So I've subtracted that from our main subject now. Must have been close to the same focus or something like that. You can see they're pretty much in line. And Lightroom's just picked up a bit of that there. So, but that's pretty good, that mask. I'm liking that. Now, I definitely don't want to add any contrast, but I'm going to go down here and add a little bit of clarity, just a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy because I'm already thinking there's nice contrast as well. Clarity does sort of affect the mid-tone contrast a little bit as well, but I'm just going to go a little bit there just to bring some definition out around the fur, and I think that's looking really good. The edge is looking good now. There's not too much fall off or anything here from that clarity. I think that's good. I'm liking where that's at. It's super subtle. If I turn that on, so that's on, off, on, off, on, off. And it's probably, you know what? This is one thing with the clarity. There's two things it can do. One is it can push the blacks a bit hard. You can see it's a little bit too contrasty, the subject now. I'd say it's just a little bit. I'm just going to pull the contrast back a little bit on the main subject. Okay, and the other thing it can do, it can desaturate colors too. So just remember that. Where clarity can tend to pull out a bit of saturation there. And always go past the saturation slider. So, we can bring a little bit of that saturation back in our main fella. Just a little bit there. Nothing crazy. So now if we have a look, if I zoom back out, let's have a look. We're going to say something, Brent? So it's before, after, before, after. I'm liking that. I'm liking that.
I was going to say, I cranked that clarity up way high just for this print.
That's right, for the print. Yeah, but we're editing for the screen now. And obviously, you know, if we were going to print, we could crank up which I haven't done, our sharpening, actually. I did miss that section. Usually I like to do the sharpening before I do the localized adjustments, but for some reason, brain fog, I've forgotten. So let's do that anyway. So sharpening, I usually pump it up to around the 70 to 80, I usually like. Hit the options key, drag the masking slider. Everything that's white is being affected. Everything that's black isn't being affected. And the reason why we do this is because we don't want to be sharpening that beautiful bokeh back there. We just want to be sharpening the things that are in focus in our main subjects. So that's what we're doing. And the other thing, it keeps that separation. Now, if we start adding global contrast, global clarity, you know, it's affecting that background, which is that beautiful bokeh that's giving us a separation for our main subject in the background. So cool-ly-o. I'm liking that. So let's have a look where we're at before, after. Cool. So I think we might go in and have a look at the eyes now. And I'm going to zoom in here. I'm just going to do it with a brush. The thing with Lightroom, there's always 20 ways to do everything. But I'm just going to go in here with a brush, and I'm going to go in, and first off, I'm just going to open up the shadows first, okay? So I'll just paint a little bit of light in just right on the eyeball there. Open up that shadows. And then I'm just going to push up the whites just a little bit there. And I also like to add a little bit more contrast because I want to keep the blacks dark. Yeah. You know, I want to keep the blacks dark, but I want to open up the light. So that's what adding a bit of that contrast back does. So it opens up the shadows globally, but then it pushes the contrast back into those blacks. So, and then of course, once we finish that selection, I always like to come out a little bit. And I always like to turn that mask on and off because I really just want to have a look at those eyes, make sure I haven't overcooked it. Yeah, and that's the easiest thing with predators, to overcook the eyes. Oh, easy. So easy. So let's go in here to our vignette. I like to push the vignette. I'm going to go a little bit harder on this one because usually for a landscape I'm around that 11, 12. But I feel like for this one I'm just going to go that little bit harder. What you can do is go crazy, and then we can play around with that midpoint, the roundness, however you like. I'm going to have a little bit longer roundness there. And I always like to feather it right out. If you do have a big highlight coming in for left or right, that's what the highlight slider is. It's really not nice. Lightroom can be pretty smart if you've got a big kiss of light coming through. It can be pretty smart about masking that area back out so the vignette's not affecting those highlights. And obviously that's way too strong, so we're going to pull it back to that. Maybe just, I'm going to go a little bit more. Yeah, somewhere there. Because I might go and I might paint some of these areas again. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Now, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's the Canon profile or what it is here, but I'm seeing magentas in the back. And it could be my screen. I just nuked this Mac, so maybe I need to calibrate the screen or something. But I'm going to say, let's see if the select background works. Let's see how it goes. It's done a pretty good job there. That's not too bad. Yeah. That's not too bad. So I'm just going to go in here. I just want to go a little bit more to the green side. And I know we don't want to go too yellow because it's going to compete with the main color. But I'm going to go a little bit yellow, and I'm actually going to pull the saturation back again as well. So I just feel like, I don't know, when I think Africa, I don't think magenta and lush green. I think warm tones, and I obviously haven't been, but that's how I feel. That's what I get from this. And it is. I'll give you some information that may change your edit here slightly. Okay. Yeah. If I remember right, I think this was around noon, and it got pretty warm and glary, right, and like really bright, and so what, warmer than that? Deserty, like lots of dead things. So yeah, maybe pushing up towards the yellow a little bit more. Yeah, so it was, and I think that maybe even the highlights maybe push them up a little more. The highlights. So we can do that down here. So if we go down here into the, that's a good, thanks for giving me the tips. It's a new install of Lightroom. Hey, it's always good to get the tips, Ben. Yeah. Let's go down here into the color grading again. And I'm just going to push the yellows up, the highlights up into that yellow area just a little bit more. And I might push them up a little bit more. I feel like overall, but the saturation in those yellows is getting bit too much for my liking. So what we can do, even though we've pushed yellows into those tones now, we can go in here to the color mixer, and if I go to the mixer, click on saturation, grab my point control, and I'm just going to grab some of the yellows and just pull it down slightly, just slightly, ever so slightly. Yeah, so it's really, really slightly. So now we've got before, after, and that's looking good. I do think the vignette is not it's not my favourite thing at the moment. I think it's affecting their corners a bit too much, even though we've pulled it in. So, you know, sometimes it's good, you know, to look at your photograph quite small as well. And if you can see, look at that vignette, I'm not liking what that's doing. So I'm going to pull that back. It's too harsh in those corners, and I'm probably going to go in and brush a bit around the edges. So that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Something interesting you can do here, and by the way, I've never edited this photograph. I'm just freestyling on it.
Yeah,
this actually, today, right now, is the first time I've actually seen this raw file. So I'm just totally freestyling. So if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this is a cool tip. So if we grab a radial filter, we zoom right out on our frame, okay? We want a nice big radial filter like this. And that's going to be our light source, okay? And sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. There is light coming in from that direction already, okay? And then what we can do is if we can just bump up the exposure there a little bit up in that corner.
I like that, Johnny. I really like it.
And sometimes you need to go for a bit of warmth sometimes in the landscapes, but I don't think this one's going to need it. So let's just have a look. And what are we doing? We're just adding a little bit more of dimension to the frame. We're just adding a little bit something extra. So the light source was already there. You know, even if I turn this light off, if you look at that, you can see there's light coming in from that direction already. Yeah. So I'm just emphasizing, you can see the shadows over here. You know, I'm just pushing that a little bit harder. Super subtle, but if we have a look, if I can get rid of that, let's go before, after. So one thing you need to do, okay, that's really important when you're doing this, okay, to really pull this off, is I like to subtract from a luminosity range. Okay, and what I'm going to do, this luminosity range, if I was to pull this all to the left, oh, thanks for the tip. We've got some tips going on. That's lovely. Thank you. Appreciate it, Lightroom. Anyway, so I'm the one giving the tip to you, man. Like, what the hell? No. No, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this down. And if I was to show the luminosity map, okay, you can see what it's doing. It's just in those shadow areas, okay, it's removing that light source. Because you think about it, the shadow areas are on this side of the light source. The light source is coming in from the back left, you know, and onto the scene here. So we don't want that new light source that we put in to affect that area. And that just pulls off this illusion of enhancing. It's not an illusion. The light was there, mate. The light was there. But you look before, after, after. So we're getting that throw. I don't want to rename it. We're getting that throw of light onto our subject. We're getting that throw of light behind our plant, but it's not affecting these shadow areas now that our light source went down. So that's subtracting a luminosity range and subtracting the shadow areas from that. So I think that's looking pretty good. I'm liking where we're at now. Let's just go back. I like to zoom out a bit smaller and then do a bit of before and after and see where we're at. Yeah, that's good. I mean, we could go in and because the plant is on the same plane of focus and it's not in the background, you know, and I'm a big fan of color. I like saturating things, and this goes back to that local saturation. Let's do it with the point mixer. Let's do it a little bit different this time. Let's go in here and see if we can grab this color tone of green. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Let's visualize the range. Yeah, that's done a pretty good job there. It's grabbed those greens, basically, by using that pointer control. We've got our eyedropper. We've clicked the greens. It's done a pretty good job there. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more, play around with the hues a little bit. Just add I know we're in Africa, and I know it shouldn't be crazy green, and that's probably a little bit too much there. But I'm just going to lift up the saturation just a little bit because we've got these muted tones, and I just like that little bit extra kick. There's not much. It's subtle. And everything I do is it's just little adjustments, but I think that little bit extra green, I don't know, maybe it's not right. I wasn't there. Maybe it was browner. Maybe it wasn't so yellow. I don't know, but I tend to like a little bit more punch in my colours sometimes. Hey, and I'm doing the edit. It's up to me at the moment.
Yeah, you're in control.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the MC, mate, the master controller. All right,
I like it. It's so really interesting to see how you've edited that. Johnny.
Yeah.
I've learned so many things.
Yeah. So
every time you edit something.
So let's just go in here, and I'm just going to get this brush now, and I've zoomed out, and I'm just going to go around. I'm just going to feather the edges a little bit, and you can see just painting a bit of exposure around there, and it's ever so subtle, and I don't mind if it goes on my subject a little bit there. And now I can just go ahead and play around with that darkness, and maybe I'm just darkening down those areas slightly on the opposite side of the sun. You notice I didn't touch the top left because that's where my light source is coming through. And it's super subtle, and then you'll think, what the hell is he doing? But when I turn it on and off, you can really see it. But when I zoom back out now and do a before and after, you can see it's just darkened down those edges. It's playing off that contrast a little bit more now. And I think we're pretty close. Honestly, that is a beautiful shot. I like the look we've gone. It's almost a desaturated, I don't know, yellowy tone. It's a real stylized thing we've actually come up with now, I think, from the light. But it makes a lot of sense when you explain to me what was happening with the light during the middle of the day. Because we've got harsh shadows, you can see, like there's pretty harsh shadows there. So the sun's quite high, but it's a bit diffused and it's a bit.
And it's also midwinter, so that's why the shadows are like so long, because it's midwinter, even in Africa, and it still gets warm in the day in winter. Like, so in the morning you got your beanies on and everything, and it's freezing cold in that vehicle. Not freezing cold, but cold, because you got the wind hitting you, and then as the sun comes up, it starts warming up. You're taking layers off, and by lunchtime, it looks like this. You're in a t-shirt and it's hot, and you're ready to go back and have a swim.
It's insane, mate. So if I right-click that and I go, what am I doing? Create virtual copy. So the beautiful thing about this virtual copy, Brent, it actually doesn't take up more space on your hard drive. It just creates another little file inside of the Lightroom catalog. So it's kind of nice, and it means now I can go in here and go, you know what, maybe I just want to like get rid of the yellow and tone it down to blue a little bit more. And then I can click this side by side here. Whoops, and there's another tip there. Thanks for that. The reference active. Let's put this up in there. There we go. So we've got both our shots now, left and right, and we can have a look and just see if we like what we're seeing here. You know, do we like the warm? I actually like the warmer tone, but that's, you know, the bluer tone, I would say, is a little bit more natural to my eye, just a little bit less, but the yellower tone is a little bit more stylized. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, there you go.
Awesome.
Extra tip. Well, that's it, man. Epic shot.
Thank you.
I'm going to Africa to get one of those.
No, we got to.
Yeah.
This is the Savuti area of Botswana, and it was our last day at this camp.
Yeah, right.
And I think we had just seen the leopard, taken a photograph of the leopard. We were about to head back to our camp to pack up and leave, and then the lions were there. It always happens like that. When you're in a rush and you haven't got time, that's when you see the good stuff.
That's amazing, man.
So make sure you always give yourself enough time.
Always focus.
In Africa,
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
I think we were hungry by the stage, and we didn't have a lot of time, and the lion was there, and he was perfect, and the light was great from the side like that, and there were quite a few vehicles, so our driver, we had a really good driver and guide, and he managed to get us into the right spot. And then this lion got up and started walking, and he could predict where it was going to go. So we moved to another spot, and we could get him walking. So it was really good. The king of the jungle, king of Africa, a male lion, the head of this pride, seeing him in his natural environment where he is the boss man.
Boss man, yeah.
It's so good. Like nothing compares to that. And that's why you have to go to Africa to see it,
That connection to the big cats or the wildlife, it's just, man, there's nothing like it.
I know.
That connection is just epic, mate. Amazing story, amazing photograph, and what an amazing location. Beautiful country to be able to go and experience something like that. Just epic.
It is. And I'm taking Johny next year. Yeah. We're going to go to Africa. Yeah.
Going.
And we're taking a select few photographers. So soon in one of these episodes, we'll announce it. That will open up, and if you're keen to come with us,
for sure,
make sure you book.
Not only is it going to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip, we're going to have a hell of a fun time, mate. All right? I know what it's like. Me and Brent, we like to have fun. Not party fun, just fun as in everything's exciting. Everything is just a soulful experience, isn't it?
And it's about connecting with each other, connecting with Johny and I, and connecting with nature and the animals.
And other creative people. Yeah, there's nothing better.
Because every night you're having dinner together, you get to really know and the other people. And often if you're on your own, you're sharing a hut or a tent. It's a luxury tent. But you're sharing it with someone. And so you do get to know people.
And we can go through your images just like this and do some ninja editing.
Yeah, right there.
On the downtime. Which will be awesome.
Because you do have downtime, like in the middle of the day, you take a siesta. Because you're up before sunrise, You're back after sunset. So you need that middle of the day siesta time.
So yeah, let me have a brunch and then power nap, and then I'm all yours.
It is actually true. Oh, you eat so much. There's so much good food.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a problem. Awesome, man.
All right,
B, that's it for this one. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you watching this episode, and stay tuned for our big announcement coming soon. And man, thanks, B.
Yeah, leave us some comments below this video if you get a chance.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think and feedback. I love feedback, man.
Yeah, we do.
I love to hear from the people.
And it's been a long time since we had the 6 show going.
It has.
So let us know if you like it, this new style, this wild style.
On the couch, kicking back, no more. Actually, you know what? This is a good evolution because we used to stand for the other episodes. And I don't think I can stand that long anymore. Getting old with the greys and the glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Catch you later. Bye.